Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Friends, as you know, we have been starting lecture series on the subject turbo machine. So in the first session of this lecture, we have already conducted. So in the first session, we have discussed the subject orientation, syllabus, examination scheme and list of experiments. So in the today's session, we are going to learn a prerequisite for a turbo machine subject. Prerequisite means essential things or requirements for the subject. And for this subject, we must know the basics or important things of fluid mechanics, that is properties of fluids, then trigonometry, that is sine, cos, tan formulas, and sine rule and cosine rule. So let us begin. So what is fluid? So friends, fluid is a substance that is capable of flowing. It has no definite shape of its own. It is assumed the shape of its container. Both the liquid and gases are fluids. The fluid mechanics deals with the study of all the fluids under static and dynamic situation. Static means what? Fluid is at the rest condition. Dynamic means the fluid is in motion. The fluid mechanics is a branch of continuous mechanics which deals with the relationship between forces, motion and static condition in a continuous material. Fluid mechanics is the study of fluid at rest or in motion. So study of rest of fluid is known as fluid static, and if the fluid is in motion, and this study is known as fluid kinematics and dynamics. It is traditionally been applied in such areas as the designing of pump, compressor, designing of dam, canal, design of piping and ducting. So it is fluid mechanics knowledge also used in designing of aerodynamics of aeroplane and automobile. So fluid mechanics and turbo machine subject is important. You can see that here. The examples of fluids are water, milk, kerosene, petrol, emulsion, air. These are the different types of fluids. So here in this diagram you can see that the behavior of fluid in a container. So liquid showing a free surface. So density of liquid is more and the cohesive force in a liquid is more as compared to the gas. So if the gas is filled in a container, so it fill the volume of that container. But for liquid, it's showing the free liquid surface. So next is type of fluid. So by using rheological diagram, we can show the or you can plot the behavior of different types of fluids. There are basically two types of fluids: ideal fluid and real fluids. So ideal fluids is a fluid that has no viscosity, it is incompressible in nature, and practically no ideal fluid exists. So ideal fluid and real fluid, these are the two types of fluids. In a real fluids, again pseudoplastic fluid, Newtonian fluid and non-Newtonian fluids, these are the three different types. So the Newtonian fluid is a real type of fluid. So here you can see that flow of an ideal fluid and flow of viscous or real fluid. So here you can see that ideal fluid does not show any viscosity, no viscosity, or it is incompressible in nature. So different layer, you can see that the different layer have the same velocity. So the average velocity is equal to the velocity of that fluid at any point. But for real fluid or viscous fluid, you can see that the different layer, different radii, you will get a different velocity. At the center, we will get a maximum velocity. On the wall or circumferential of the pipe, we will get a zero velocity. So it is the main difference between ideal fluid and real fluid. So the next is real fluid. Real fluids are compressible in nature and they are showing all the fluid properties. They have some viscosity and real fluid implies a friction effects. Examples are kerosene, petrol, oil, milk, water. These are considered as a real fluid. Again, you can see that velocity distribution of pipe flow. Ideal fluid shows the same velocity at different diameter or different sections, but real fluid shows different velocities. In ideal fluid it shows the same velocity, and in real fluid it shows the different velocity at different diameters or radii. The next type of fluid is pseudoplastic fluid, a fluid whose apparent viscosity or consistency decreases instantaneously with an increase in shear stress or shear rate. So the examples of pseudoplastic fluids are quicksand, tomato ketchup. Now you can see that ketchup and quicksand is example of pseudoplastic fluid. The Newtonian fluid. The Newtonian fluid, they are obeying the Newton's law of viscosity. These fluids are known as Newtonian fluids. For the Newtonian fluids, viscosity is entirely dependent upon the temperature and pressure of the fluid. Examples are water, air, emulsion. These are the examples of Newtonian fluid. Non-Newtonian fluids. So friends, non-Newtonian fluids, they are not obeying the Newton's law of viscosity. And the examples of non-Newtonian fluids are suspension in starch starch in water, paste, gel, and polymer solutions. Now you can see that the different examples of non-Newtonian fluid. And by using this rheological diagram, you can see that the Newtonian fluid shows the linear nature, and non-Newtonian fluid, these are the dilatant, pseudoplastic, Bingham plastic, and this ideal plastic. These are the non-Newtonian type of fluid. They are not showing the linear nature, they are showing the curve nature. So the next point is properties of fluids. So friends, properties of fluid is important from turbo machine subject point of view. So properties of fluids determine how fluids can be used in engineering and technology. They are determine the behavior of fluid in fluid mechanics. They are density, then specific weight, specific volume, viscosity, surface tension, capillary action. So we will discuss one by one. So the first property is density. Density, it is also known as specific mass or specific density. So density is a mass per unit volume of fluid. In other words, it is the ratio between mass and volume V of fluid. So density is denoted by rho, and its unit is kg per meter cube. So density is nothing but mass upon volume. Mathematical expression rho is equal to m upon v, and here you can see that the density, here the packing is close packing, so the density of this fluid is larger than density of the first fluid, and the density standard density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. For mercury it is 13546 kg per meter cube. The air density is 1.2, and paraffin it is 800. So the important thing is, with the increase in temperature, volume of the fluid increases, and hence the mass density decreases in case of fluids. As the pressure increases, volume decreases, and hence mass density increases. So please remember this sentence. This is very important sentence. The next property is specific weight. Specific weight or weight density of fluid is the ratio of weight upon volume. So weight of that fluid upon volume of that fluid, it is nothing but a gamma. Gamma is nothing but a specific weight. So the specific weight unit is Newton per meter cube, and it is also written as Newton meter raised to power minus 3. Gamma is also defined as product of density into acceleration to gravity, because mass upon volume is nothing but rho. Rho is nothing but a density, mass density. Mass density into g. Again, important statement is, with increase in temperature, volume increase, and hence specific weight decreases. With increase in pressure, volume decreases, and hence specific weight increases. So therefore specific weight is equal to specific density into acceleration due to gravity. So the next important property is specific volume. So specific volume is a reciprocal of specific weight or mass density, and its unit is meter cube per kg. The next property is specific gravity. Now specific gravity is a ratio of density of any fluid to the density of standard fluid, and we know that for liquid we consider water as a standard fluid, and for air and for gases we consider air as a standard fluid. So friends, it is dimensionless quantity, it has no unit, and the specific gravity of water is 1, and specific gravity of mercury is 13.6. The next important property is viscosity. So viscosity is the important property, and viscosity is a property by virtue of which fluid offers resistance against the flow or shear deformation. In other words, It is the reluctance of the fluid to flow. Viscous force is that force of the resistance offered by a layer of fluid for a motion of another layer over it. In case of liquid, viscosity is due to the cohesive force between the molecule of the adjacent layer of the liquid. In case of gases, molecular activity between adjacent layer is the cause of viscosity. So in a liquid, viscosity is due to the cohesion force. And we know that as the temperature increases, viscosity decreases. And for gases, as the temperature increases, viscosity increases. Here you can see that some standard fluids is density and viscosity. So the ammonia density is in kg per meter cube, it is 1.2, and viscosity is 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 5 Pascal second. So these properties or these values measured at 20 degrees Celsius and at 1 atmospheric pressure. So the next important law is Newton's law of viscosity. So the statement of this law is, let us consider a liquid in between the flat plate and the movable plate. The top plate is moving and bottom plate is fixed at a distance y. The distance between two plates is y, and the area of contact is A. This area of contact is known as weighted area of the movable plate, and F is the force required to move the plate with velocity u. So according to Newton's law of viscosity, shear stress is proportional to the shear strain. Now here you can see that it shows a linear nature and the second fluid shows non-linear nature. So top layer have the velocity maximum, it is free velocity because there is no resistance, but the bottom plate is fixed. Bottom plate is fixed. Due to this, the fluid layer at the bottom have the zero velocity, and as you go the upward direction, the fluid velocity increases, and the top layer or top plate have the maximum velocity. So here is the mathematical statement for Newton's law of viscosity. Then shear stress is proportional to the velocity gradient. Velocity gradient is nothing but du by dy. So if you remove the proportionality sign, we will get the final expression for Newton's law of viscosity, that is tau is equal to mu du by dy, and this equation is called as Newton's law of viscosity. In this equation, this mu is a constant of proportionality called as dynamic viscosity or absolute viscosity, or it is also known as coefficient of viscosity or viscosity of the fluid. Now here you can see that the graph of viscosity versus temperature. As you know that for liquids, as the temperature increases, the viscosity decreases, because if you supply that heat to the liquids, the cohesive force, the bonding between two molecules weak or maybe loose. So as the due to this temperature increases, the viscosity of that fluid decreases due to the cohesive force. And for gases, the temperature increases, the viscosity increases, and it is due to the molecular moment exchange process. So due to temperature, the moment or energy transfer rate increases. Due to this, the viscosity of that gas increases. The viscosity of liquid decreases and viscosity of gases increases with temperature. The next important property is dynamic viscosity. So friends, dynamic viscosity is nothing but viscosity. It is also known as absolute viscosity. Its unit is Pascal second. Newton second per meter square is a unit, SI unit of dynamic viscosity. It is also expressed as Pascal second. Pascal means what? Newton per meter square. It is known as Pascal and second here. So CGS unit of dynamic viscosity is dyne second per centimeter square, and it is also called as poise. So please remember the units of viscosity, because unit conversion it is important. So 1 centipoise is equal to 10 raised to minus 2 poise. So effect of pressure and viscosity of fluids. So pressure has very little or no effect on viscosity of fluids, but the temperature affects the viscosity of fluids. So effect of temperature on viscosity of liquids. Viscosity of liquid is due to the cohesive forces. Already we have discussed between the molecules of adjacent layers. As the temperature increases, cohesive forces decreases and hence viscosity decreases. The second type is, or second condition is, effect of temperature on viscosity of gases. Viscosity of gases is due to the molecular activity between the adjacent layer. As the temperature increases, molecular activity increases and hence viscosity increases. The next property is kinematic viscosity. So friends, it is the ratio of dynamic viscosity to the mass density of that fluid. So the kinematic viscosity is denoted by nu value, and nu is equal to mu by rho, and its unit is, SI unit is meter square per second, and its CGS unit is centimeter square per second, and it is also called as Stokes. So you can convert the Stoke into the meter square per second. The next property is surface tension. So the property of fluid to resist tensile stress on their surface is called as surface tension. So here you can see that a container in that liquid is filled. So the molecule inside the liquid have the same force. It is in the liquid, and the top molecule of the surface is in tension. So because half part in the liquid and half part is open to atmosphere, due to this the top layer is always in the tension, and this tension is known as surface tension. So the attractive forces acting on the liquid molecule at the surface and deep inside the liquid. So cohesive force means what? The cohesive force are the forces that exist between the molecule of the one phase. The molecular attraction between the same molecule is known as cohesive force, and adhesive force is the force that exists between the molecule of the two different phases. Means what? Attraction between the glass and water. So this attraction is known as adhesive force. So the main important thing is pressure inside the water droplet, soap bubble and liquid jet. So here you can see that a solid droplet. So the surface tension for acting on a circumferential or outer surface, and pressure force acting on a cross section area of that droplet. And the formula, we can calculate a pressure intensity by using this formula. P is equal to, or pressure intensity is equal to 8 sigma by D. Now in this case, this P is the pressure intensity, D is the diameter of that droplet, and the sigma is surface tension of the liquid. The next is surface tension in a liquid jet. For liquid jet, the pressure intensity is equal to 2 sigma by D. Again in this case, the surface tension acting on the outer surface and pressure intensity acting on the cross section area, that is rectangular area. So we can calculate pressure intensity by using 2 sigma by D. Again in this case, sigma is surface tension and D is the diameter of that jet and L is the length. So here in this table you can see that the surface tension of some fluids in air at 1 bar pressure and 20 degrees Celsius. So water at 0 degrees Celsius, 20, 100 and 300 degrees Celsius, the surface tension value is 0.076, 0.073 and 0.059. So you can read these values, and please remember the standard value for water, it is at 20 degrees Celsius, it is 0.073. So here you can see that another important thing. So another interesting consequence of surface tension is the capillary effect. So due to the surface tension and due to the cohesion and adhesion property, capillary effect is formed, which is the rise of or fall of liquid in a small diameter tube inserted into the liquid. Such a narrow tube or confined flow channel are called as capillary. And rise and fall of liquid in a liquid column is known as capillary effect. So here you can see that in this case adhesion force is more than cohesion force, for example water. So you will get such a type of nature. For mercury, the cohesive force is more than adhesion, so you will get a curvature nature like that. So here you can see that the liquid, if you immerse a small diameter capillary tube in a pool of water, then the water level increases due to the adhesion force. Adhesion force between the water and glass surface is more than the cohesive force. So the capillary rise, it is observed in water, and for mercury, you can see here capillary fall, it is observed. So in mercury, the cohesive force is more than the adhesive force. So here you can see that for a water, the theta is angle of contact and it is acute. We will get a small angle less than 90 degrees Celsius, and for mercury we will get obtuse angle, it is more than 90 degrees. So the angle between the surface tensile force and vertical is called the angle of contact. If adhesion is more than the cohesion, the angle of contact is obtuse. So H is the capillary rise or fall. Again, the formula for capillary rise and fall is 4 sigma cos theta gamma into d. Sigma is again surface tension. Cos theta, in this case, this theta is nothing but angle of contact. And we know that angle of contact for water is acute angle less than 90, and angle of contact of mercury, it is more than 90. Gamma is weight density, and d is the diameter of that capillary tube. So the next important point is cavitation. So friends, cavitation means what? Formation of vapor filled bubble of flowing liquid in a region where pressure of a liquid falls below the vapor pressure, and sudden collapsing of this vapor bubble in a region of higher pressure. So cavitation phenomenon is important in the reaction turbine as well as in a centrifugal pump. So the next important point is flow through pipe. So as you know that when a fluid is flowing through a pipe, the fluid experience some resistance, due to which some of the energy of fluid is lost. So flow through pipe is important because losses calculation or calculation of correct pump size, the flow through pipe or major loss, minor loss is required. So there are two types of losses: major energy loss and minor energy loss. Major loss occurred due to the friction, and minor loss occurred due to the change of direction or change of velocity. So the loss of energy due to the friction we can calculate by using two different formulas: Darcy-Weisbach formula and Chase's formula. So here you can see that Darcy's equation, it is HF is equal to 4FLV square by 2GD. So the loss of head in a pipe due to the friction is calculated by formula, it is given by. So in this equation, this F is the coefficient of friction, which is a function of Reynolds number, and here you can see that the two condition. So F is a friction factor, it is 16 upon Re for laminar flow, viscous flow. If the Reynolds number is less than 2000, then we can apply this formula, and if the Reynolds number is more than 2000, then we can use the second formula. Now the Reynolds number is nothing but inertia force upon viscous force, and if the Reynolds number is less than 2000, then the flow is known as laminar flow. If the Reynolds number is in between the 2000 to 4000, then the flow is known as transient flow, and if the Reynolds number is more than 4000, then the flow is known as turbulent flow. So please remember this formula because this formula is important. The next formula is Chase's formula for loss of head due to the friction in the pipe, and normally the Darcy's formula is mostly used, but Chase's formula may be used for special cases. So V is equal to C under root of Mi, where M is the hydraulic mean depth, C is the Chase's constant, and the I is loss of head per unit length of a pipe. The second main important topic is minor energy loss, and this minor energy loss is due to the change of velocity of the flowing fluid in a magnitude or direction is called as minor loss or energy loss. So there are different 7 types of losses are occurred when the fluid flowing through different veins, then sudden contraction, sudden expansion, or exit loss, entry loss. So the first loss is loss of head due to sudden enlargement, loss of head due to sudden contraction. The third loss is loss of head due to bend in a pipe, loss of head in a various pipe fittings, loss of head due to an obstruction in a pipe, loss of head due to the bend in pipe, and loss of head due to the various pipe fittings. So we will see one by one. The first minor loss is loss of head due to the sudden enlargement. Here you can see that HE is equal to V1 minus V2 square by 2G. So V1 is the velocity in the small diameter pipe and V2 is the velocity in the large diameter pipe. V1 is greater than V2 because the area is minimum. We will get a maximum or more velocity, and as the area increases, pressure increases, velocity decreases. So please remember this formula. Then the second formula or second condition is second type of minor loss is loss of head due to sudden contraction, and by using this formula we can calculate loss of head due to the sudden contraction. Here Cc is the coefficient of contraction, this value is 0.062. The third minor loss is entrance of the pipe. So Hi is entrance energy loss, it is 0.5 v square by 2g. So in this equation, this v is the velocity of pipe, flowing fluid in a pipe. The next loss is loss of head at the exit of the pipe. So HO is calculated by using v square by 2g. So please remember all these formulas, because by using this formula you can calculate the total loss. Total loss is the summation of minor loss plus major loss value. The fifth loss is loss of head due to the obstruction in pipe. Again, remember this formula. Then loss of head due to the bend in pipe. Now in this case, this k is nothing but coefficient in a bend. So k value is supplied from a supplier, and this value is constant for different bends, long bend, short bend, like that. Then the loss of head in a various pipe fittings. So different pipe fittings are walls, then different pipe fittings. So HF is equal to k v square by 2g. Both the formulas are same, but the k values are different for different pipe fittings or different bends. So again, in this case, k is coefficient in a pipe fittings. So friends, this is related to fluid mechanics, basics of fluid mechanics. So Bernoulli's equation, then energy equation, conservation of mass we will discuss in unit number first of turbo machine. The next important topic is trigonometry, that is sine, cos, tan formulas. In a turbo machine subject, trigonometry plays important role, because blade angle calculation for this purpose we require sine, cos, tan formulas. Here you can see that a right angle triangle. So base of triangle is known as adjacent side, then opposite side, and hypotenuse. So an angle between these two sides, adjacent and hypotenuse, is theta. So sine theta is nothing but opposite side upon hypotenuse. Cos theta is adjacent side, this side divided by hypotenuse, and tan theta is opposite upon adjacent. Tan theta is nothing but sine theta upon cos theta. So we will get a opposite side to the adjacent side. So if the triangle is right angle triangle, then and then we can use sine, cos, tan formula. The next triangle law is sine rule and cosine rule. Let us consider capital A, B, C. These are the angles. Capital A is angle between B and C. Capital B is angle between small a and c, and capital C is angle between A and B. So friends, small a, small b, and small c, these are the sides of triangle. So sine rule is you can see that side A side, and A side opposite angle is A. So small a divided by sine A angle. Similarly, the B side and its opposite angle is capital B. So B upon sine B is the formula for B side and capital B angle. Similarly, you can write down for C side. So C side divided by sine angle C. This formula is applicable for finding sides. Now, in a turbo machine subject, triangles and analysis is important. So the triangle line indicates the velocity. That are the relative velocity, absolute velocity, or flow velocity. So by using this formula, we can find out the angle or sides. Again, the cosine rule. If there are two unknowns, then by using cosine rule, we can find out the angle or side. Now, the formula is important. Consider this is A side, and you have to calculate the A side. So the A square is equal to the remaining sides are B and C. So B square plus C square. Just write down the A square is equal to the remaining sides are B square plus C square minus 2. Then the two sides are BC and cos the side A opposite angle is capital A. So the formula is in front of you. So remember this formula: a square small a square is equal to small b square plus c square minus 2bc cos a. So you can apply this formula for b side also. So b side formula is please remember this formula, or you can make this formula. It is simple. So b square is equal to a square plus c square minus 2ac cos capital B. So by using this cosine rule and sine rule, we can find out the angle as well as sides. And the last important law is Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem is nothing but hypotenuse square is equal to the opposite square plus adjacent square. So by using Pythagoras theorem, we can find out any side, that is hypotenuse, adjacent and opposite. So friends, thank you for watching this video, and prepare a notes for fluid mechanics, so you will get a more knowledge about turbo machine and fluid mechanics. Thank you once again.